Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream today. We're here at Sebring on the Mon Ultimate for the final of the 100 series. Has been a good season so far. Hopefully we can end it on a positive note. I'm going to get driving here as we are into qualifying. I nearly forgot that, yes, I do have the electric to start. But yes, Sebring. Sebring, interesting track. I quite like it as a track. It feels like it has some good overtaking opportunities, some good challenging corners. Of course, then you've got the bumps. The bumps certainly do make this track a little different from others. Quite interesting, but overall a pretty enjoyable circuit. And yeah, we're heading out now. To start our qualifying session, long pit lane, since we have to travel all the way down it from the garages that are behind the pit lane, thanks to the different American styles of pit lanes. But we are immediately put on to the start-finish straight, to start a flying lap, sort of no out lap. Though this first flying lap, still, cool tires isn't always the best. Heading up to the hairpin here. More difficult braking zones, running in a little bit deep. Into the middle sector now. Got this left-hander a bit challenging, but TC makes it much easier. And this right-hander, bit of an awkward one. Heading towards Sunset Corner 9, final corner of the track. Of course, the first one we tackled out of the pit lane, over the bumps. First flying lap, 148.9. Good enough for P3 at the moment. T1, you can see the time we're finding immediately from having warm tires a little too deep into turn 2. Snatched the front left there, but still got the car turned in. You can see how much more traction we have now with the tires warmed up. See a lot of times around us improve as people complete their second laps before us. You can see the sort of time advantage not as great through the latter part of this lap, just because temperature improvement isn't as great. front left overheating a little bit. But cross line, it's up into P3. Once again, this time with the Ferrari in front of us rather than the Toyota. Better run through turn 2 this time. Finding a tenth and a bit. We're only 14 thousandths off of P2. Snatching the front left over the bumps, right onto the apex of the hairpin. And we are finding a little bit more time. Just had myself running a little wide onto the grass there. There goes the Toyota now. I'm going to finish this lap and then I'm going to pit for second stint. I turned in too early. Tires, new tires, fuel. Let's go that much for, that's actually just have enough for 5. And let's head out once more. Gotta be a little bit careful with this hairpin that takes you onto the pit lane itself. Of course, on the cool tires, the car just wants to understeer. Thank you, Leo, for the good luck. We are in quite a good spot for the championship. The 2 championship contenders weren't here last week. I think we'll only get 3 flying laps, fortunately. Well, technically 4, but I'd like 1 more. But technically, the first one's really still an out lap with the tires being cooled. But yeah, we're in a good spot, as I was saying. 2 championship contenders weren't here last week, and one of them certainly isn't going to be here this week. Seems like neither of them will be. It was a 50-50 for one of them, and haven't seen them yet. Evening, Kiki. Good to see you. No cars in front. A little bit of a gap, 9 tenths to make up to the front row. Been in second for the last couple of races at Monza and Spa. Challenged for the lead on the opening lap. Did get the lead at Spa, but a bit aggressive on the braking. Trying to fight for the lead. Has meant that haven't quite been able to hold on to the lead on lap 1, I'd say. So it'd be nice to get ourselves onto the front row. Maybe we can't get the lead this time. Either way, we'd be a good position for the championship. 3 flying laps to end this quali session. Let's see if we can improve on P4. Very close to our delta. Out of the first sequence of corners. They'll lay on the brakes for the hairpin. A little deep into the corner, but got good rotation through the corner. Made up a bit of time. Nearly 4/10 up now into final sector. Not going to be enough for second row, or first row. Also just partly trying to secure our spot on the second row. Make sure we don't fall behind to the third row from any of the improvements. 47.0 that lap. Missed the apex. Still up on the delta, but lost maybe a 10th from being wide from the apex there. Good hairpin. Not wide of the apex and picked up a little bit of time. 10th and a half up at the moment. The brakes into that right-hander. Not a great exit through the left-hander there. Bounce off the inside curb there wasn't helpful. It's a little bit tedious there with my mistake from the last quali run. And need to be tighter on that inside curb. Sliding a little bit wide there. We will get one more lap. I could have been a little bit later on the brakes. Will be an improvement, but only a very slight improvement, 18 thousandths. As we have one more lap. A little more cautious on the brakes. Didn't lock up, and you can see on the delta the time we find from that. By 10th, as I said. Car getting a little squirrely under braking over the bumps. Very tight through the hairpin there. Good drive on the exit. Much better through the right-hander there. Quarter of a second up now. That's a better line through there. Too tight on the left-hand side curb. Their car just bottomed out slightly on the curb. We're still a quarter of a second up. They'll not gain us any places, but you can see Cadillac within a 10th of us behind. They've pitted but shows that we could just do with a little bit more time to make sure we are safe. A little bit later into breaks into sunset. We lose time on the way in, but we gain time on the way out. It'll still be about a quarter of a second up. 46.8, and that'll just help to secure. We couldn't get further up into the top 3, but just helping to solidify that P4 by a quarter of a second to 3/10 off of the front row. We're close. We could get it in the race. It will all be about race strategy, which I'm just going to take a little moment now to double check some things. Oh. Alfie has joined. That does make the championship a little bit more interesting. But,
Teams and drivers go to the grid for a race start.
okay, so I have fuel numbers for if we need to do a 27, 28, or a 29 lap stint. Put on new set of tires, we've got full fuel. Whether we change tires or not, I don't know. We'll see in the race. We will see in the race, starting from P4, outside for T1. Not ideal, a little bit risky, but yeah. So,
formation lap has started.
I don't know, it's a new thing with YouTube. I only noticed it doesn't appear as XP on my end. Like I when I'm watching YouTube streams, I very, very rarely interact with. Oh no, is the game glitched? I feel like the game. No, it might be alright. But yeah, I'm surprised I'm getting an out of line. No, and now it's over to the right. Line's a little weird here. Yeah, it's apparently a new thing. I don't know anything about it. This formation lap feels broken. As we wait for the lights.
Green flag.
Bad start for the pole sitter. 3 wide. Cadillac didn't give me a lot of room there to be on the track. Or Ferrari is that? I'm a little deep into here. Just tagged the back of the Ferrari there. Trying to roll speed through the hairpin while staying in front of the Cadillac behind. Peugeot still leads the race. Hey Ben, good to see you. A little bit wide through sunset here. .72, that's a high number. I'm looking to about 3.55. That will get us 20. That should get us 28 laps into the race. Maybe lapping people early. Already lapped a hypercar. They've had an awful lap one. I guess they're missing a wheel. Dropped a little bit back from the frame. Also opened up a little bit of a gap to the Cadillac behind. Not under immediate pressure, but the Cadillac is sort of keeping up with us. Some fuel numbers, 3.62, that's still a bit high. Cadillac's under a lot of pressure from Ferrari that was late joining. Rolled out since June, huh? I'm guessing the very end of June, since, as I was saying, the first time I noticed it was yesterday. when it said top fans on my thing, and then these crown icons started showing up. Fry's past the Cadillac behind, which has opened the gap between us and the Cadillac. 3.6 again. Yeah, I'm not hitting my number. Thing that worries me if I'm not hitting my number here is I feel like much more lift and coast and I'm going to start to lose pace. But I kind of want to keep the pressure on the Fry, but it seems like the Fry is also lifting and coasting. The Fry isn't behind. Ferrari, much better run there. I'm not going to fight the Ferrari. We're on two different strategies. Ferrari can get a lot more speed into T1, but not a lot of speed out of T1. If I'm lucky, the two Ferraris fighting now will bring the yellow one closer to me. Double front lock up for one of them. Didn't quite see which of the two it was for. First of the GT3 cars we're coming up to now. We did hit our number last lap, 3.46. And of course we are slightly, we do need to save more than what our number would be because we didn't save on the opening couple of laps. Plus there is the rolling start. Setup we have, I'm just as usual running default CDA, and yeah, you see Fry is lifting as much as we are. Me and the Fry are on the same strategy. Persia will ride 10 seconds up in the lead. Toyota 7.5 in front of us. Fry in a little bit deep. keeping the pressure on. I think something's happened behind. Right, they'll certainly expected it to be there. Just giving it a little tap as we pass the GT3. They're out very wide. We'll follow the Ferrari through. Yeah, that wasn't a good braking zone. I lifted early, and then when I needed to brake, I ended up just, because it wasn't a natural, I wasn't braking in the natural way, I messed up the brakes. Had a little lock up and thus ran wide. Clarn a little awkwardly lets us through there. Now we're saving, now we've saved more energy than the Ferrari has. That's not a good line. That track limit thing was great, and then it turned yellow. That's annoying. Thank you, Ferrari. That was just really awkward timing. I caught the Ferrari right at the apex. And I just wasn't sure which way to go exactly. Use your mirrors, please, BMW. It's like, that BMW has caused issues this season, and that was a good example of how they just need a little bit more awareness. It's really hard for us to gauge what side to go on in that instance, because when I was approaching him, he was on the right hand side of the track. So it's like, oh, I'll pass on the left because I don't want to make a sudden swerve across the track. So you aim yourself on the left-hand side to try and indicate, oh yeah, I want to pass this side on a straight. That's a dive bomb. Then the BMW just doesn't leave you the space there because, I don't know, they feel entitled or something. Been a good lap. This front left look, I've still got the car turned in, but obviously damaging the tyre, flat spotting it. Not ideal. Just dropped off the back of the Ferrari. average? Average is 3.47. Oh, it's fuel's the issue. Oh, Toyota issue. That puts us back up to P4. But I know that Toyota's going to have pace to come back past us. Close to 6/10. I said screw lifting coast there to get to the inside of the BMW. Very tight apex there. It's not beneficial. Toyota's 2 seconds behind us. Cadillac's 4.5, fighting with a Porsche. Lost 3.5 tenths to the front last lap. I am pretty sure the leaders aren't fuel saving. They will have to make a second pit stop. And if it's anything like Spa, they'll just have the pace to do it. Yeah, I think if I was pushing to do one stop, I think there's no way I would beat the Ferrari in front of me with them doing a one stop. If I want to beat them, I think I have to do a one stop. And that's the main thing. It's not necessarily looking to win the race, it's looking at the people around me similar to my pace. And what would give me my faster race. Here's that too, it is. Again, very tight on that apex. Probably a little too tight. Ferrari getting held up behind this Aston Martin. I was kind of hoping the Toyota was going to pass there with the lift and coast. They've decided not to. Let me have the apex, very kind of them. Very wide. Really starting to close up to the Ferrari. Last few laps. I'd rather, in a way, work with the Toyota so that I can beat the Ferrari than fight the Toyota and then I end up losing out to both of them. not letting the Ferrari box be in there. Now this is a very interesting thing because me and the Ferrari also still want to fuel save. But how much do we fuel save at the risk of losing track position? I kind of want the Toyota to kind of bugger off now in the distance. Deep and missed the apex there. I still have more energy than the Ferrari, but it's fuel. I haven't got the right fuel ratio. Though I should gain maybe like half a second in the pit stop from having to fill up 1 less percent. But in pit time size into low. The Porsche in front lapped Porsche. We've already lapped them once, as they had damage on lap 1. Toyota out really wide there. Porsche's going to let us all through. Very respectful to let all the cars through at the same time, you know, don't hold up one car more than the other. As we have another Peugeot facing that. Oh, sorry, that was the leader facing the wrong way. I didn't think that could be the leader. But leader has made a mistake and I think is out of the race. Ferrari's dropped back a little bit. Now, of course, if the Toyota in front, they're not fuel saving. If they're going for a 2-stop, we can very well beat them. So, I think they have some damage, which is why they're not driving up the road. Oh, the Porsche and Cadillac collided as well. Oh, that's a shame. Because their pace wasn't too bad. You know, we weren't dropping them, so if like me and the Ferrari got involved in a bigger fight and lost some time, they could have maybe got themselves into it. Especially if they played the strategy well and pardon me, especially with the fuel saving. As I run a bit deep into the hairpin. Now that's good awareness there from that BMW. I stuck to the right-hand side there to indicate that's the side I wanted to pass on. You see the BMW was started to turn right to open up the apex for me, but then seeing where I was positioning my car. And then so moved back over to the left. Really good awareness from that BMW, and I greatly appreciate it. That other BMW could learn a thing or two. Starting to struggle with a little bit of understeer through the right-handers. Front left tyre is the limiting tyre as it wears throughout the race. Question is, do we want to change any tyres this race? Remember, the key is we want to make it to the end of lap 28. That'll put us in a very good position for the final stint. And actually, with the previous leader retiring, might put us in a position to maybe run closer to flat out. Also at this rate, if we do finish P3, this will be our 6th third position of the season out of 8 races. Or no, will it? No, sorry, it will only be our 5th, sorry. Our 5th out of 8 races. Alongside a 2nd last time out at Spa, and a 4th and 5th. The 4th coming at Imola, where we got spun down to the back of the grid on the first lap, which 4th is a very good result considering that. And then the 5th came at Qatar, where I just really struggled, did not get to grips with that track. Twice now I've pressed upshift and the car's not upshifted. A little bit concerning. Thank you, McLaren. That little chicane section is awkward for multi-class. I was a little bit worried there, but thankfully, I give a little flash of lights to McLaren trying to say, hey, please stay right. And they acknowledged that. Full 2 seconds back from Toyota, which is not as much as I fear it would have been, which is why I suspect they have damage. They are 5 to 6%, 5% down on energy compared to us, them and the leader. this is a 55 lap race and we go 28 laps here, we only need to go 27 in the next... There's a bump off on the inside for that braking zone. Aston there just sort of jinked to the left to make it clear which side they wanted me to pass them on. Of course, technically, we only need to save 7 laps to this point here where we would enter the pit lane. Yeah, so we're like 0.6 laps clear on the virtual energy, but we're only 0.1 clear on fuel. I mean, I gotta say, with how this race is looking at the moment, it's not far. The 2 leaders are not far from making a one-stop work. If they could do 27 laps in this stint, they only need to do 28 laps at the moment in the next stint, which is basically matching what we've done this stint. We won't be able to go full flat out, but we won't need to save a lot of energy, I don't think. If you hook the wheel up on that left-hand side curb, in a way, it really rotates the car to the left-hand side. Actually dragged me off the track, give me that track warning. Which, yes, you can get track warning for going over that white line on the entry to that right-hander onto the pit straight here. Not lifting there to make sure we got past the Ferrari. Is the Toyota gonna get stuck in this traffic here? It is. Thankfully that BMW does leave us the space this time. I was a little bit worried they wouldn't. But they learned their lesson. I would normally flash my lights in a situation like that, but the BMW, for what they did the last time we lapped them, just thought, let's do this to try and be safe. Toyota's having a horrible lap. First caught up in the GT3 traffic, then it has been messy ever since. Really bad run through the right-hander. cannot tell if the Toyota is saving energy or not. Because we've had this 5% advantage for a while now. Don't feel like it's increased as wide. We do have the question of, do we change tyres or not? We could change 2 tyres for a 5-second cost. In which case I'd probably change left-hand sides. While the front tyres are wearing quicker than the rears, it's not big enough difference to say that we can get away with just changing the front tyres. Got some good rotation from the car that time onto this straight. We didn't gain a lot in the slipstream there. I mean, I could have pulled out to try and make a move, but I know I still want left and coast, so that's what I did. Took the opportunity for a bit of a bigger lift and coast. Wasn't a great sequence of corners from turn 2 to like turn 5. Oh, there's a bump there that just snatched the front left. I crossed the dirt there because if I turned right to make the curb, I probably would have just driven into the Porsche, and I don't want to do that. I know that's going to be a little late on the brakes. BMW is coming into the pits and it's really held the Toyota up. Because the Toyota wanted to make a move down the inside, but the BMW, having to abide by the white line, had to stick to the inside there. Toyota just slammed themselves into the inside wall there. Maybe giving them, we'll certainly have a bit of damage, whether it's suspension damage or not. We don't know, but if they do have suspension damage, that could hurt their pace even further. On the brakes there because I lifted too late. they're already pitting. That could be a 29 lap stint. I think we're going to beat the Toyota now. With that, I think that has put us in front of the Toyota. Remember, we are fuel limited rather than virtual energy limited. We might have enough fuel to run the final lap flat out. I think we will. Leaders into the pits. They'll be able to make the end of the race. They'll just need to save a bit more energy than they did this stint. Yeah, we can go flat out. Bad luck up. Could be really deep into the corner, to be fair. I don't know how much fuel a flat out lap takes. We have 1 liter. We should just about get there. .4 to spare, but 2% energy to spare. We put the energy ratio up a little bit, or the fuel ratio up by 0.02, so we should be fine. We've got full fuel. We're not repairing the damage that we have. Had to lift for the Cadillac. That's a little bit annoying. Well, of course, drive out onto electric, not taking tires. So 40-second stop. Fry comes in and gets into their box right behind us. So look at the top right, it says 55.1. The game's uncertain if this will be a 55 or 56 lap race. Of course, we do have to account for the fuel used between the pit exit and the start-finish line. Peugeot's going to kindly let us through. Currently sitting in P8, that Peugeot is. I don't think we can run flat out. BMW has saved another lap of fuel, but like, we're 3 minutes past the halfway mark. I think they've oversaved. Also, we've come out in front of the Toyota, so they've maybe changed 2 tyres, but they certainly haven't repaired any damage. BMW pits. Like that, we have 7% more energy than the Toyota behind. Of course, the tires being a bit more worn will mean we don't use quite as much energy this stint. Pushing flat out. You know, if we pushed out flat out in the first stint, we would have used more energy than we'll use this stint pushing flat out. Moving the brake bias slightly rearward, just because the front tires are getting more worn. So the grip of the car's going sort of towards the rear. And the BMW got themselves a stop-go penalty. .78. That's too much energy. We still need a bit of lift and coast, but not as much as we did in the first stint. Both me and the GT3 ran a little deep on the brakes. Also, I've just noticed we're 16 odd seconds in front of the Ferrari. I wonder if they took 4 new tyres. Car really jumped up on the bounce there. That's a Porsche that we're lapping for the second time this race. They've had an incident at sunset. Hopefully the damage isn't too severe, because if they need to pit to repair it, well, they're at the first corner past the pit exit. So they've effectively got a whole lap to do before they get to pit lane. Big left phase there because of the Porsche. Big interesting point of this race now is the fight for P3 between the Toyota, which is short on energy, and the Ferrari, which is good on energy, might have new tyres, but is 12-ish seconds back. Oh, there's some nasty bumps in that braking zone when you're on the inside. For the outside there on the Ferrari GT3 around sunset. Also, the difference between lifting and coasting and pushing and not lifting and coasting. Too late on the brake. brakes there. On the battery, because your braking zones are smaller when you lift and coast, you don't recover as much energy, so you can't deploy as much. Rip that BMW. This race isn't done that far, he's catching us. And is saving energy. Isn't using as much energy as well. It may not be a fight for P3 with the Toyota. The Toyota might be looking at a 4th place at best. This might be a fight for 2nd. Starting to struggle with front locking now. Move the brake bias a little more rearwards. I need to try and see what pace the leader is doing to guess how many. Yeah, see, it's just taken a big jump up to 55.3, which I can't remember if that's a 55 or 56 lap race. Right, game says we're short on VE. So we'll try and save a bit. Yeah, last lap was quite a poor lap. Mainly because of this hairpin. Right there. appreciate the Porsche lifting to let me go. Hoping that when the Fry catches the Toyota, that they fight and slow each other up. Because at the moment, I think the Fry will catch me. 30 minutes left in this race. It is far from over. Very marginal on fuel at the moment, according to the game's calculations. From the leader. Their pace isn't too hot, which is good. We don't want them absolutely flying away and giving us an additional lap like what we had last week at Spa. the gap being 7.5 seconds, and there being 15 laps to go, the Ferrari needs to gain half a second a lap to catch me at the end of the race. They'll need a little bit more pace than that if they want to give themselves time to make an overtake. At the moment, I'm just basing it off of what it says in the bottom right, and the laps to go it says in the bottom left, which is rotating between showing laps remaining, like 14.5 as it says now, and how many stints that is, which isn't too useful in our current predicament, but a feature more for longer races where you're making multiple pit stops, like yesterday's race. The 2.4, the La Mini Le Mans 24. Had a slow lap here. Lost over a second to the Ferrari. Yeah, I can't be having laps like that. Of course, traffic will play into this. Traffic could be the deciding factor. One of the things that will really decide this battle is the Toyota. The Toyota is saving energy and is getting closer to where they need to be. Still have quite a bit more to save. Porsche, they're running very wide. Please don't come back to the apex. Thankfully they didn't. Still need to find a little bit more pace than what we've done the last couple of laps. Did make a little mistake, ran wide a right-hander last lap. Can't afford those mistakes. this right-hander here. That wasn't ideal. Well, could have been worse. Right, that's a better lap. That's the pace we need to hit. No 49s. Ferrari just going to the 48s. Ferrari's up behind the Toyota now. Theoretically, it should be an easy move. Toyota fuel saving, Ferrari new tyres. Or much newer tyres than the Toyota. Should theoretically be one of the easiest moves of the race. That doesn't mean the Ferrari isn't going to lose time. 49.1. Like that there, the Aston Martin just moving to the left early. Again, to indicate what side of the track they wanted to let me pass it on. Just makes things easy. Ferrari not past the Toyota yet. Crashed in pit lane. Judging by the yellow flag and where the car was on the track map, going slowly. That's my best guess, because I didn't see a car on track. Yeah, look at that, we opened up 7/10 on the Ferrari. And where they should have gained, when they need to be gaining time on us, them losing time is just awful. I'm so surprised the Ferrari hasn't got the move done already. Maybe the Toyota is putting up a good fight. Maybe it's a difference in straight line speed is really hampering the Ferrari here. Car crashed on the exit of Sunset. But they have got going again before we arrive on the scene. Ferrari's still not past the Toyota. It's making our second place much, much more comfortable. Looks like the Ferrari might be going for a move now. Those gaps are nearly overlapping. But looks like the Toyota's just held on for now. But the Ferrari is right on the rear bumper. Lapped Porsche spun. That's the Porsche that had issues at Sunset. Oh, good luck up there. And past the GT3. Yeah, this gap's opened up to over 6 seconds now. I could definitely be driving faster than or with less fuel save than I am now, less lift and coast. But I just feel comfortable with what I'm doing at the moment, so why change that? I've no need to take risks. Especially as the tyres continue to wear out. Ferrari finally passed the Toyota. Seven seconds is the gap. But with only 10 minutes remaining, 6.5 laps, they would need over a second a lap to catch us. Right, brief yellow there. That gap's opened up to 8 seconds this lap as well. I wonder if the Ferrari's having to defend from the Toyota. Six laps to go. Up there, passing BMW. Can use about 3.8% energy per lap. I'm going to try and phase out some of the lift and coast zones, but not all of them. don't know if the Ferrari did save energy this stint, but if they did, they saved too much. Don't know if they maybe could have been a little bit quicker earlier in the stint. Used up, you know, got a little bit more pace out of the fresh tyres. Left now. Outside of the Aston Martin. Fry going on an adventure over the grass on the exit of T1. Trying to go around the outside of the Fry there. Bit optimistic. Had a little bump with Fry, but no harm done. Oh, and one of the hypercars is going for the escape road. That's P6 we've put a lap on. Cadillac we were fighting earlier. Already across the line. Some car had an issue, but I couldn't look at the map to see what car. Had to make sure I didn't run into a car sideways across the track at sunset. Porsche was very slow and wide. BMW really slowed down to the S3 there. They must sort of be crawling to the end. Ferrari is catching up with us, but too late. They lost that time fighting with the Toyota, and now they're just too far back. So as we're approaching the final lap, a little reflection on, let's start with this race, P2. I don't think it could have been any better. I think we were looking at P4 if the Peugeot and Toyota didn't have issues. I think both of them were quicker than us, but the Toyota had an issue, been behind us, didn't have the pace since. I assume is carrying damage that they've opted not to repair. So really the main fight was between us and the Ferrari. We managed to get ourselves in front during the first stint. And then the Ferrari went for a different strategy. Opting to switch tyres at the pit stop. And to be honest, judging by the Ferrari's pace, I think that was the quicker strategy. I think on race pace, race time, the Ferrari would have had a quicker race than us. But catching and fighting with the Toyota, that's really held it back. If the Toyota wasn't there, I think the Ferrari would have caught him past us. Well, maybe not past, but I think it would have caught us and it would have been so much closer. Unfortunately, the Toyota was in their way, and that's always the risk with strategies like that. The time you lose, the track position you lose, is sometimes maybe just a little more costly than the advantage that you gain. The season, though, it's been a good season. We've been on the podium all but 2 times this season. One time wasn't really our own fault. We got spun at start of lap 1, fell behind the GT3 field. The other, we just struggled for pace at Qatar. As we come across the line for a second P2, equaling our best finish of the season. It won't be the championship. Alfie in the lead of this race will take the championship. But we will take another podium, a second in the championship as well. It's been a fun championship. There's been some good races. The strategy's been pretty interesting throughout. And there's been some good racing. There hasn't always been the most interesting on-track battles. Sometimes it's come down to strategy. But yeah, really interesting series. I would love to do next season. Next season, same 100 minutes. Pretty much everything is the same apart from the fact it won't be a split hypercar and GT3 field. It will be a full field of hypercars, single class, well, Pro and Am classes, but single car class, but different driver classes. Yeah, it'll be interesting because then obviously lapped cars won't be in the way, or GT3 cars won't be in the way. That'll make the race a little bit quicker. The chance to go 1 lap longer might make the fuel saving for a one-stop a little more difficult at some tracks. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I hope I can do it. It's not looking very likely I will be able to. But I hope I can, because this season has been great fun. This race was good fun, Even though the second race we didn't really have a bad, on-track battle with anyone, we had that strategy battle with the Ferrari, So yes, that has been a fun race and a fun season. Um, yeah, I'll have to remind myself of the season. Of course, we started at Portimao. That was a flat out race. We got P3. I don't remember much of it, to be honest, apart from the fact um, I wasn't sure whether to take a medium front left tire or a hard front left tire. I think I started on with a medium and I changed to a hard halfway through the race. Then second race was Bahrain Endurance. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest track for these. The GP track or the outer loop would have been much better for this format. It's still an all right race. We had a couple of cars in front of us spin. Yeah, and again we ended up taking P3, even though we weren't necessarily the third quickest car. Le Mans, the wet and dry race, that was certainly interesting. Trying to figure the strategy out there. Um, that's the main two-stop race of the season. Yeah, those were tricky conditions to contend with, but good fun. Imola, that's the race we got spun to the back on the end of lap 1. Had to make our way through the GT3 field on the first and second lap. And we raced our way back up to P4. That was a really fun race. Like, I think I'd have to put that as my most enjoyable race of the season. I mean, it's never great getting spun to the back of the field early on, but it kind of makes for a fun race, recovering back and yeah, I'm really happy with P4. We were still the highest placed Porsche in that race. After that, we had Qatar when after the 1.0 not 1.0, the June update, new track added, really struggled. Could not get into a good rhythm, a good flow around that track, and yeah, I kind of showed. I didn't struggled with pace. I think we were lucky. A car in front of us span. That meant that again we were the highest finishing Porsche, even though we were really struggling and we weren't the quickest Porsche. Yeah, I think this um this made it. I think that means I finished as the highest place Porsche in all of the races. As a couple of weeks ago, then we had Monza, a full wet race that, yeah, surprisingly brought that to really made it on the edge of a one stop or a two stop. You know, needed quite a bit of energy save. As the weather changed. Yeah, made that race a bit difficult from a strategy perspective. You didn't know how quick the track was going to be. So how many laps was the race going to be, or how much fuel / energy you were going to use per lap. So it made that race difficult to predict. But yeah, ended up being one stop was a good race. We got another third place, our fourth and final third place of the season there. Last week, Spa, we were second quickest. We had a chance at taking the lead. I bottled it on lap 1. And yeah, we didn't really have pace there, but we were comfortably second. Bit of no man's land, unfortunately. Strategy kind of gave us some false hope, but yeah, ultimately just not enough pace there. And Sebring, not as quick as we were at Spa, but good enough that but yeah, a couple of mistakes from other people are getting caught up in a couple of incidents, and yeah, we find ourselves in second. Could have been a close battle at the end, but the Ferrari we were fighting with just caught up in a bit of traffic. And yeah, well, 2 seconds to finish off the season, which is pretty nice. Very enjoyable season. And yeah, hopefully I can do next season. If so, that'll start in a couple of weeks, but it's looking unlikely. Yeah, as always, we'll finish upstream with a bit of Art of Rally. So we will. And while I do that, next stream, we're sort of going to have a bit of a break over the next week. There's not really any racing going on over the next week, but I may do some daily races on the Mon Ultimate between now and next weekend. Maybe on Wednesday evening, it'll be my first races in LMU, our first daily races. So we'd be in the lower splits, the rookie splits. It'll be quite carnage. I'm thinking I'll do last to firsts, or yeah, starting last, not qualifying for the races. A, partly to avoid some of the chaos, but B, to trying to have some fun races, making our way up through the grid. Yeah, we'll have to see on that regard. Let's get the load up daily race. Yesterday we got 20th, top 10%. That's not too bad. That's sort of like an average position, I would say. Not a good result, but not a bad result. Today we have a Group 4 car at Finland. Short 3.2 kilometer stage, very short stage. What is this? Volvo of sorts? Come on to the gravel. Glad I braked a bit before that jump. And Shift tried to carry a bit more speed through that left-hander. That's not a great line. Through this little S, the car's change of direction, not that great. The rear ends are floating around a little bit, causing the front to kind of wash out. Final couple of corners now. There we go. 123.4. 19th, there we go. Better result there. We were a couple of tenths off next place, 300ths in front of the next car. Yeah, that's a good run. Happy with that. Felt like you ran a little messy in a couple of corners, but yeah, wasn't too bad. Especially just jumping in, no practice, and getting to grips with the car. I very much enjoyed that. But yeah, as I said, that's going to be it for today's stream. Hope you all enjoyed this 100 series. I certainly did. And yeah, we'll take a little bit of a break. As I said, don't know, not sure exactly when the next stream will be. Maybe Wednesday evening. We will have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, Google Lens couldn't work out what the car was. I mean, it's a low poly, well, kind of low poly, like GTA version of a real life car. But yeah, that was that. Thank you all very much for joining. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Gigi, Artie, Ben. Thank you all very much for joining. Hope you all did enjoy that. Thank you as well to anyone else who was lurking in the chat. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I said I'll be back some point. But yeah, until then, enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Enjoy your upcoming week. Hope all goes well. Yeah, and until next time, take care. Have a wonderful. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.